Good morning, everybody. So today it's Saturday. It's June. It is the 7th of June in the year 2025, or at least that's what we call it. We call it the month of June, the day that we call Saturday, the date that we call the 7th in the year that we call 2025. So I hope everybody's having a really good day. I've got my power back on. So I have the phone plugged in. So we've got some battery here. Let me see if I can just move that a little bit. I think that'll work. I think that'll work pretty well. All right. So yesterday we looked at the Elon perspective of this fight that two adults are having very publicly on the earth plane via social media and any other way that they can voice their opinions, which seems very immature, right? Why would they do that, right? So, well, because it's the world we live in. So in order to reach people, as many people as possible, that's how something would play out. That's why when I see stuff like that, I just step back from it because I find it to be drama-ridden. It's not for me. I'm looking at the world with a different perspective. I know that there's all this pretend everything going on. It seems like everything's an illusion. We're watching a show, blah, blah, blah. It's just not for me. It's not where I vibrate. It's not interesting to me to watch two grown men fight. Especially when there are better things to do, like play with my dog and the goats and look at the flowers bloom and clean my home and interact with people I love. But this is how, sadly, this is how the world operates today. So this is how information gets out. This is how consciousness is seeded. This is how people are entrapped and ensnared in the traps. It's a crazy. I think back to the 80s when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, and the 70s when I was a kid, and just such simpler times. I miss those times. Even raising my son in the 90s, just a nicer time. Things really were starting to change. Mid-90s, but he was still raised in a much simpler way of being. And I think that's impossible now for anybody to be able to, just the way the world operates. I miss the simplicity. I miss that. But I had said yesterday that we would look at Trump. I've looked at Trump many times. I always get that the Trump that we're seeing as the political personality on the world stage, the President of the United States, I always get that he's a good guy. It's never not been that. But let's look again, okay? Because I think it's people just make people more comfortable. I had one comment saying, well, you should ask the cards if Trump's going to be hung for treason. Well, pardon my frankness, but the cards keep saying we're in the middle of a military operation. And if you're part of a military operation, why would you be hung for deception? It's not like our soldiers and our generals give away their plans. They don't tell you, you know what I mean? So that's kind of silly. And honestly, I find that comment, if you're watching this channel as many times as we've gotten that this is a military operation, that comment in itself doesn't really align with anything that we're getting here in the cards. Just doesn't. Now, one comment said that someone was very disheartened because they were aware that Trump had more to do with Epstein Island than just exposure of people. And I can understand you wanting to check on Trump for that. That makes sense. But we always have to remember that no matter what it is that we think we know, we're learning this from other people. And it doesn't, so we don't really know anything unless it's our own experience. Is that making sense? So you have your own experience and that you know is happening. Like I know that I'm sitting here right now talking to you folks, getting ready to do a reading. But if somebody says that they have knowledge of anything, really, it's just them saying it. And I don't know that that's true. I don't know that anything's true. Neither do you. None of us do. And it's good for us to always question everything. So let's take a look. We should question everything all the time. I was raised to question everything. And I even question myself. Like, what is it? I question what I think I know. I try to stay in check and not get into this place where I could fall into cognitive dissonance. I try not to confirm my own bias all the time, right? I challenge myself. And I think that's good, and I think it's needed for growth. And keeping an open mind and not getting emotionally attached to ideologies or ideas. I think is healthy for all of us. So with all of that being said, let's take a look at the person. I need to word this carefully because years ago, it's been years now, I did a reading and I got that President Trump was whisked away. And I got exactly that. I had gotten the Cheyenne Mountain, probably in Cheyenne Mountain, because of the card that I got, which is, the person heading towards the mountains. And, I observe, I look to see, and I see that there are different Trumps playing this character on the world stage. And we all know, or we think we know, that anybody of importance like the president has body doubles and whatnot. So I want to word this carefully because I want accurate information, right? So let me get a drink of my coffee here. And if it's morning there for you, grab your coffee, have a coffee with me. But while I think of how to word this properly so that we get accurate information, I'm just going to say don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of either of the channels. Those are scammers. Don't do it. I'm still having issues uploading to Rumble. It will sort itself out when it's meant to, apparently. The healing intentions are always set for you folks. That's what this channel is really all about. Finding some healing and some loving energy and universal, healing energy to restore us with, right? So the healing intentions are always set for you folks. So if you so choose and you want them, decree it for your highest and greatest good, only and always. And just breathe that in and allow the integration into the body. And let's see, how do I want to word this, you guys? My guides know what I'm talking about. So the character or characters playing the part of Donald John Trump, the now elected president of the United States. That's who we want the reading on, and we want a true story about whether this character or characters, the person playing this part in this journey right now, we want to know the true character of, we want to know the true story. Is this person a good person with humanity's highest and greatest good for intentions only and always? Please and thank you. So let's get them shuffled up, and we're going to do a 7-card spread because I want to see the pathway. So I want to see the pathway of this person's pathway, and then the story around them, right? And we'll let the cards talk and tell us what they will, okay? So let's take a look. I think a couple more shuffles. I feel if you're learning to read, and I know a lot of you are, that's why I try to be so informative. Plus, I'm the kind of person that I want to know the whole story. I want to know the whys. So that's how I read, because I want to know the information. But I try to be as informative as I can so that it helps anybody that's learning to read trust their information and learn to read intuitively if that's what you're doing, and not just traditionally. So when you're shuffling, you want to really be in touch with those cards, and you can feel when they're done. Sometimes it might take just a couple of shuffles, but you'll feel those triggers of when to stop. You know, a lot of times your conscious brain will say, I'm going to shuffle 2 more times, and you'll hear me say, oh, no, 3, I guess, is what actually feels right. You got to go with those feelings. The feelings of the cards being done is pretty important. So now I feel like they're done. So I'm going to cut them 3 times and pull from the middle. That's because that's how my highest self, my creator, and my guides have set up the conversation. And unless I feel guided otherwise to pull from one or the other deck, the routine is I pull from the middle. So this is how we work, right? So let's, dropping them. I'm dropping them because the cards are sticky. It's humid. It's like a dampness, a wetness in the air right now. It's icky. It's been this way for like 3 days. All right, so now let's do the 7-card spread. So the first card down is the High Priestess. And then we have this Ace of Pentacles. So is this person a good person with humanity's highest and greatest good? Is what we're asking, right? We want a true story. We want that pathway. And we want the truth around this character. All right, so let's start with his pathway, you guys. So the first card that drives the person who we see as President Trump on the earth stage, right? The character, the persona, the president of the United States, because we understand that there are body doubles. We understand that that has to be that way for someone who is the president. Anybody who is the president of the United States has body doubles. So, but the truth around the energy of this president, okay? We start with the moon, which drives the entire pathway. So with the moon driving his pathway, he's here to create noise, right? Let me pull the card up so you can see it. So he's here to create the noise. You see the moon whispering and creating the noise. He's here to create enough noise so that it gets people that never paid attention to the noise to come up, raise their heads and pay attention, as uncomfortable as it may make them. That would be the little lobster coming up to see what all the ruckus is about. He's here to end cycles. So his journey here is very karmic. The moon always ends cycles, and this is what drives his pathway. He's here to reveal secrets. And that's what the moon does. The moon ends things, reveals secrets, creates the noise to get people chattering and waking up about things so that they have a clearer understanding. The moon also guides people to get into their intuition. And with all the controversy around this man, you would have to get into your intuition, really, because there's a lot of controversy there, right? So that's what's driving this man's path. He's here to create the noise that wake people up, that activate them. He's here to create enough noise to activate people that otherwise wouldn't be activated into participating into this journey that we call life. He's here to reveal secrets, and he's here to get people to start paying attention to their intuition. So his journey is very karmic. It's with the moon leading his pathway, okay? So it's a very karmic journey for him here. Higher purpose. It's a higher purpose. And it's quite a purpose. Because above that, all of that, he's here to reveal secrets. He's here to end things. He's here to get you paying more attention to your intuition. He's here to make the noise that gets you up and talking and discussing things and activates you. He's here to make enough noise so that people that normally wouldn't come up and pay attention are rearing their heads and saying, what is going on? So it's a very karmic energy with this higher arcana card driving his pathway. And then right above him, he is the Knight of Wands. Okay? So, again, warrior. Passionate, courageous, vitality, warrior energy with this man. So he is a true warrior. He's a true warrior. And then at the very top, the Knight of Pentacles. This is something that he's been doing longer than you know. With that workhorse, don't ever think this has been easy on him, because it's not. It's hard work. He's been doing this for a long, long time. And I would say, you know, when you're looking at that workhorse, you guys, you're looking at way longer than when he came down that escalator in 2016. This has been a very long journey for him. Okay? So that's his pathway. There's nothing that's not great within his pathway. Nothing saying he's bad at all in this reading. He is coming up as this High Priestess. The High Priestess is very skilled. The High Priestess is very abundant. And we know that he's abundant, right? He's from a family that had abundance. If he's being represented right now in this reading as the High Priestess, he has a lot of skills. He's more connected to spirit than you might know. He has probably gifts that maybe he doesn't talk about. His intuition would be very strong with the High Priestess. And the High Priestess sits there, and what does she do? She holds balance between the dark and the light. That's what she does. Right? So that's what he's here doing. He's here holding balance between the dark and the light in this journey where he is here to reveal secrets, make noise, create chaos to bring upon endings. We're in a battle of dark and light. We really are. So this makes sense. Now, across from him, Ace of Pentacles. What's he here to do? He's here to start something fresh and new on this earth plane. And above that, we have the Two of Cups. This is something that he made deals to do a long time ago, you guys. He has been a warrior for a long time, so he has made these deals. This has all been stuff that has been a long time in the making. Longer than we may ever know. I do remember he said one time, I've been training for this my whole life, or something like that. By the looks of these cards, that very well could be. for a very, very long time with this Knight of Pentacles. Now, above the High Priestess, we have that Four of Cups, right? Cups are all about feelings. They really are. And fours are always the work that goes into things that would create balance. So if he's the High Priestess and he's holding balance between the dark and the light, and then you come up to that Four of Cups, and you see that there are 3 cups lined up on the earth, that 3D, where people just constantly look to the 3D. 3D, 3D, 3D. And they absorb their feelings from that. And what I mean by that is, oh, it feels good to me to get a new car. It feels good to me to have a pretty wife. It feels good to me to have a handsome husband. It feels good to me to have 2 kids and a vacation home, because these are the 3D ideologies that we have. Those people are always looking for that next thing to fill their cup, because they're not receiving from source, right? So with the Four of Cups, it's about looking up from the 3D and stop looking for happiness from outside of yourself, of what you can receive from that 3D world, and look up and connect to source and fill your cup via source, right? So you're so full inside, it doesn't matter if you have the new car. You're pretty happy with the junker if it gets you from point A to point B. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong, that there's anything wrong with obtaining nice things for yourself. You work hard, obtaining nice things that you can trust your car to take you further than 15 miles a day or whatever. But in today's world, we've become very materialistic. Not everyone, but it's like the training. It's the training that kids get from a very young age. What can you get? The measure of a man is his wallet, and all of that bullshit, right? So right above him, holding this balance between the dark and the light, you have an ushering in of something of a higher vibration. To get people to lift their heads, to look, to start receiving from a higher vibration. All right, so we've got that High Priestess who's very abundant, very intuitive, very magical, holding balance between the dark and the light. Right above them, that Four of Cups, doing work that creates balance within the way people feel on the earth plane, that brings in something of a higher form, something new, something that's been worked on for a long time. He's been working on for a long time, because the High Priestess is directly connected to that Knight of Pentacles, you guys. So the High Priestess, for years and years, has been working to bring something new in. Something that he's been working with other people on, that is of a higher vibration, and it is a lot of work. And it's to create some semblance of balance on this earth plane, because you have the 4, you have the 2, and you have the 2, right? And it's to end cycles that have been going on for a long time. So far, everything that we're getting on this man says that this person has good intentions, and he's been working to do this for a long time. This very high vibrational person who's very abundant, working to create balance between the dark and the light, holding the balance between the dark and the light, is a true, passionate, courageous warrior. And his passion is to bring in something new, something better. And he's been doing it for a long time. And he's kind of creating a wake up for people through the noise that he reveals, through the noise he creates, through the reveals that he brings forward. So, and these are things that are going to create better feelings and deals that he's made over a long period of time. Like, this has been going on much longer than his presidential campaign and running and whatnot. So with all of that being said, let's go deeper and get more of a story. Let's let him talk more. But there's nothing here indicating that this person is a bad person. Not a thing. So let's keep going, okay? All right, let's cut them. Now he's coming up as the Emperor. He's coming up as a good guy, the Alliance. They're showing you that this has been his life's path. And now they're showing you he's part of the Alliance with that Emperor. So he was probably chosen to be part of this because of his stature in life as the High Priestess. Because that Emperor touches the High Priestess. It touches that bringing of something that feels better in to this 3D world. It touches the long period of time that he's actually been a warrior. So I would say he's been part of this alliance for much longer than any of you know. Any of us know. All right, and so his work here, his work touches this happy ending with that 10 of Cups, you guys. So his work that he's been doing here, the ultimate goal is to create a happy ending. And he's worked with others to do that because there's deals here. He's part of an alliance, these two touch, okay? And that is to end things and bring in something new. And that's really his mission here. So let's get one more card. This is a wish fulfillment. As his warrior soul, right? Because this wish fulfillment goes over the warrior soul, that passionate Knight of Wands. It is his wish that will like fulfill his destiny, he feels. It is his wish to end the way that things were and bring in the new. That will be the ultimate goal for him. Okay? So it is his wish to bring enlightenment and to break the chains that bind. This is his wish. This is his ultimate goal. And then with that sword, he'll be ready to move forward. That is his ultimate goal. He wants to end these chains that bind. As part of the alliance, he wants to bring enlightenment. As part of the work that he's done, it is his wish to bring enlightenment and break these chains that bind. It is his wish to end the way that things were and start something new. It is his wish to hold that balance between the dark and the light and to bring something newer, feeling better, a higher, more balanced way of being that feels better, that has that higher vibrational, that's just a higher vibration with this 4. So, and then once this is all done, with that Ace of Swords, it's like, yes, I've brought in that higher frequency. So with this, even like you're looking at bringing humanity technology that will also help to lift vibration and enlighten people and usher in a time of technology that literally helps break some chains that have bound them for a long time. It's his wish to do this. This has been stuff he's been doing for a long time, you guys. So I know there's a lot of controversy around him. I seriously never get anything other than like, he is really here on a karmic path, a big one. And it's not easy for him. It's like, this is hard work for him. So even though he's abundant, this has been very hard, long drawn out, long fought for, but he's courageous and passionate. And he has this wish for things to turn out this way. So between his feelings and his desires and his courage as that Knight of Rods, this is part of why he was chosen. He also has the means with that High Priestess. So, discernment. I know that, you hear things about people. Remember, he comes in as that moon. Lots of controversy. The noise he makes and the noise around him is what wakes others up. So really tapping into your own intuition. We can't just trust what other people say. Listen, I grew up in a small town where someone was always shit-talking someone else. I learned as a very young child that lots of people say shit just to say shit. And as a very young child, I learned that some people really get this feeling of power and this high off of diminishing other people's reputations and stealing their power. I learned that as a very young child. Now imagine being somebody who is in the public eye. And imagine being somebody who does have integrity and is trying to do some good stuff. Imagine all the people that would want to tear you down and make you look as though you were something bad because they're afraid that what you do will actually diminish them because they're the bad ones. So we have to step back and we have to really use our discernment. Now, I'm just going to share with you folks, I was very, very jaded for a long time. I'd just seen so much political bullshit. I was very jaded. And I watched the 2000 election be stolen by George W. I mean, that was so obvious. I couldn't believe that they were doing it so obviously right in our faces. But I watched that unfold in real time and was very, very jaded. At that point, I had already felt like the good guy would never win. So, and I'd seen proofs of that over and over and over again. So I was pretty jaded. That's the weight that you carry when you're awake. And so, and then I watched Obama come in, and I mean, he did some scary shit. It was a very uncomfortable time for someone who is awake and aware to watch that man and his reign as the evacuation route signs went up all through every neighborhood throughout my own state and our country. As he was buying up body bags, as he was putting in the FEMA camps with the barbed wire facing in. We all knew, people like me knew who those camps were for, okay? So it was a sketchy time. It was a very sketchy time. And then everything kind of changed in that second term. And I'd learned about secret societies way back when I was in my 20s, which saved me often from despair because I already had a knowing that there were secret societies not just working against us, but working on our behalf. So I had faith in that. I really did. And then something shifted in the second term, in Obama's second term. And the fast forward motion that we'd been set on seemed to slow down a bit. So that gave me hope. And then at first, when Donald Trump came down that escalator and all of this, I kind of got excited for a minute. But you've got to remember I'm jaded, okay? And so I got excited for a minute, and I listened to him talk, and I soaked it in, and for a minute I was excited. But then I saw how well he was doing. And I thought, all right, we've got another elitist, we've got another millionaire, whatever, elitist, someone famous, running for president. If he actually gets in, he's probably in the pocket of somebody. All right. So he made it through the primaries so that he was in the primaries. And I was like, all right, yeah, he's bought and paid for. Gotta be. That's how jaded I was, you guys. Let me get a sip of my coffee. So when he won, I assumed that we had just another bad guy in there working for the cabal. That was my assumption. But it didn't take me long to start thinking to myself, what the hell, everybody hates him. This doesn't seem normal. I mean, for some people to not like the president, that's normal. But when it seems like the masses are screaming hate for this man, this doesn't seem normal. Especially when you know the masses aren't awake. They're not awake. They barely educate themselves enough to go vote. Most people don't even do that. They don't look at anybody's voting record. They don't even do that. They pay attention to what their little flyers tell them and their TV ads tell them. So when everybody's jumped on this bandwagon of hate, that makes you take pause. And then I don't watch the news. I know the news is bad for me. I've known that for a long time. So I started actually going and looking at the news to see what the hell was being said. And I saw that they were just running this man through the coals. My first clue was, if they don't like him and they've got the masses freaking out about him, I need to do some research. So I started delving in. And I saw that the things that he was doing were not bad. They were actually good. And if anybody actually paid attention, they might get behind this man. And if the media didn't like this man, then there's probably reasons that I should. And I was going to keep going deeper. And I did. And I put my jaded mind aside, and I opened my mind, because I was that jaded, you guys. And I did my research, and I delved in, and then I faced my intuition on him, because I was so jaded I wasn't even running off of that, right? And I decided that I would support him. And I would listen with ears to hear, and I would look with eyes to see. And I would not just listen to what somebody said, whether they were building him up or knocking him down. I wasn't just going to follow who loved him, and I wasn't going to just follow who hated him, because that's not how we're meant to do things. That's not what we came here for. That's what they ended up training us into doing, but it's not why we're here, you guys. So I urge you to remember that when you're hearing things, no matter who you're hearing them from, it is for you to step out of your fear. It is for you to step out of your 3D way of feeling. And it is for you to sit and connect and use your intuition and that feeling that comes in, that true feeling, that guidance. My guides have been saying for years, you know, don't walk with fear. Tap in. Tap in. Use that intuition. Whoa, leave the kitty alone. Oh, he's all uptight. We have a kitty that he's been watching out the window. Now the kitty's moved. That ruckus was him turning circles in excitement. But tap in. Really listen to your intuition. You know, maybe throw some cards yourself. Get some cards. Start practicing. Start practicing some divination tools. If you're not really, if you haven't gotten yourself to a place where you really trust when you're centering yourself and you're just listening, you're asking the questions and then you just listen during meditation. If you don't trust that yet, talk with God and your highest self and your spiritual team. Those who have your highest and greatest good for intentions only and always. And I mean, you make that decree, right? Always make your decrees. Ground into the earth, connect into the heavens, and set those decrees. And then start practicing some of these divination tools to see what you get. And don't read from the ego. So have that open mind that no matter what you see there, whether it's something that your own biased mind has been telling you is so, or something that has been telling you is not so, read from that intuitive place where you remove your ego. It's going to take practice. You're not always going to be right. None of us are always right. None of us. And if anybody says to you, I'm psychic and I'm always right, run. Run as fast as you can, because these people are so full of shit. You can't always be right, because you can only understand what you've got the contrast for. So you have to keep working on yourself, on your emotions, on your triggers, on your wounds, do your emotional work. You have to keep working to create a conversation with your highest self, with your creator, with your spiritual team. You have to get really good at that communication. And then you're still only going to be able to understand as much as you've been enlightened on, or as much as your experience and the contrast will give you. But the more you work, the bigger, the more expansion you get, and the more knowledge you get, and the more of an understanding you have. Does that make sense? So, am I making sense? So start doing these things, because you live in a really tricky world. And honestly, I think the only way that we're ever going to find peace is to do that work and fill our cup, so that we're happy from the inside out, and we're not seeking that next thing to fill us up. And we're so in touch with our intuition and our highest selves and our creator and our spiritual team, that we recognize all of the hits, all of the signals, all of the signs, you know, and you open your gifts that way. And you have gifts, you guys. You all have gifts. You all have them. It's just that you've been taught to ignore them, or you've been trained to put them away because you were taught they were evil. There's all of this psychological bullshit around why people have turned off their gifts. But when you do that work, you open them. And the more you do it, the higher you fly. Is that making sense? And we live in a really tricky world, you guys, where it's really needed. It's really, really needed. Okay, so now we've gotten that story about President Trump. So now, they've already told you he's part of the alliance. He's a warrior. He's been doing this work for a long time. So this is, again, he's part of a military operation, okay? So he can't play his hand. And as long as he's a good guy and he's coming up as a good guy, he's obviously not going to be hung for treason if he's in the middle of an operation. I mean, just think about that. Just think about that and how asinine that. Everybody would be hung all the time in war if they had to tell the truth to everybody all the time in war. Think about it. It doesn't even make sense. Be logical. Step into logic a little bit. God gave us a logical mind. We have that so that we can survive accordingly. If we don't use logic mixed with our intuition, then we don't make good plans and good, we can't make a good plan for ourselves at all. If we're only running off of emotional triggers, we don't make good choices. Think about it. How many people have intrusive thoughts? When somebody's being mean to you, somebody's being what you feel is mean to you, and it angers you, you might have an intrusive thought thinking to yourself, I'd just like to punch this person right in the head right now, because that's an emotional trigger and it's driving you emotionally. But logic comes in and says, that wouldn't be a good idea. I probably shouldn't punch this person in the head. I mean, I wouldn't want to be punched in the head. That's not nice. We do unto others as we would like to have done unto ourselves. That's not a good choice. Not only is it not a good choice, but I hope that didn't skip out. Not only is it not a good choice to punch somebody in the head if you're angry and being emotionally triggered, because it's not kind, but it could really bring repercussions upon you, right? You could be arrested, you could be fined, you could go to jail. So logic will tell you not to push forward with an emotional reaction, right? And then intuition and touching soul says that wouldn't feel good. It might be gratifying in the moment because you'd have moved the anger, but later you'd feel terrible because that's not in alignment with your highest and greatest good. That's not in alignment with your soul's purpose. So we have to use our logic. We have to use our intuition. And the emotional trigger is the clue that you have work to do. It's the clue to either move you forward using logic and tapping into your intuition, or it's that clue to run, fight, flight, and then there's freeze. But do you know what I'm saying? So you have to use your logical mind. You have to. You can't always be geared by emotion. And it's practice, but the more we practice it, the better we get at it. And we'll probably never be perfect at it because we are imperfectly perfect. We're not meant to be perfect beings here. That's part of our learning experience. Our experience through our imperfections gives our soul knowledge. Does that make sense? I know this sounds more like it sounds like I'm just going on and on and on, but I'm hoping that you get some insight here for yourselves because we live in such a tricky, tricky time. And knowing what to believe, like you said, it's hard because everybody's trying to trick you because you're literally living through an illusion where even the good people are tricking you and then the bad people are tricking you. And then you've got all of this social media stuff where if they get the fear going in you, that's going to get them likes and clicks. And those likes and those clicks and those comments and those shares earns them money. So it's a very deceptive world that we live in. You gotta get yourself well grounded to the earth, center yourself, make your decrees and make sure you're protected and you're not talking to entities you don't want to be talking to. Only that which has your highest and greatest good for intentions only and always. Know that you're making it clear that you're wanting to talk to your highest version of self, your creator, that which loves you and loves all in creation, that which created all in creation. That you want to talk to your spiritual team, those which agreed to come here and help teach you and enlighten you and guide you and protect you on this journey that we call life, that have only your highest and greatest goods, purpose for intentions, only and always. Make those decrees, and then, go from there. You've got to make those decrees and touch that intuition and heal those things that hurt and be very discerning because we are in a tricky, tricky, tricky world and everybody's got some sort of an agenda, whether it's a good agenda or not. So it's the only way we're going to get through this, you guys. It's the only way. All right. So with that big old blah, blah, blah being said, and hopefully you're understanding what I'm saying. Hopefully it's making sense to you and hopefully it resonates. Now that we've seen all of that around President Trump, I would like the universe to say what they want to say regarding President Trump. One last message for all of us regarding the job that the president is doing here on the earth plane, as that warrior that's been working for a long time with the Alliance. Any last words for us, please? And then I'll clarify to see if I've delivered good messages and, correct messages as they would like me to have done. All right. Please and thank you. I am making a mess because it's damp. Because these cards are so sticky right now. I should maybe run them through some flour. Although, that makes such a mess for a little while after you've done it. But it does help with the stickiness. Just a little flour. All right. So let's see. What else would our creator, our highest selves, and our spiritual team, that which has our highest and greatest good for intentions only and always, like to say to us Anything more that you would like to reveal to us around President Donald John Trump, the person that we see on the world stage that has been elected our president, that you just gave us information on a minute ago? Anything else? I'll let that play out in a conversation. Again, he's the high priestess, holding balance between the light and the dark. He is safe. And then moving forward, we will all be celebrating. Okay, so he's coming up as the high priestess once again. And then we have the 8, where he's been walked away from. So I've seen this before. That was why I said possibly Cheyenne Mountain. Very high vibrational number there. He set things up. Traps set. And then he walked away. And he walked away towards what? A mountain. So I believe he's still under protection, you guys. He's still in a secure area being protected. Doing his job from probably Cheyenne Mountain. But he set up all these traps ahead of time. And the people that you would be seeing on the world stage then would be his body doubles and whatnot, acting the part while he's being protected, making the decisions from, Cheyenne Mountain, working with the Alliance from Cheyenne Mountain, part of the military. But moving forward, we're all going to be celebrating, rejoice with that 3. I think we'll be seeing him again soon, you guys. So, yeah, you can still see the cards. So we're all going to be celebrating. With that Ace of Wands, a new journey is going to start. Something new coming in. Probably him coming back as well. You actually being able to see him again, the real him. Lots of work has been done. One piece left to do. Like, we're really close there, moving forward. It's just a little bit more to go. And let's get that last card. Big reveals coming. We're in for a nice surprise. So what has to happen, the work that has to be done, you guys, the more that has to be done is more reveals with good things and bad things. But that one more piece would probably be this surprise cup right here with that 7. Again, with the 7, just seek the proofs. We'll be able to see that this is actually taking place. Just seek the proofs. So if you come down, he's set up as that high priestess, doing the work. He's abundant, and he really is holding balance between dark and light. We should be able to see those proofs. Come down from that, you should be celebrating, right? So rejoice. Coming down from that, we have a surprise coming. But the work that's been done has been a lot of reveals for the nasty things and the good things. He's just back in the shadows. He has to be in the shadows, whisked away to Cheyenne Mountain here. While this work gets done. Moving forward, we're about to see more go in. More reveals, a surprise. Everything was set up a long time ago. And he's been walked away and protected. But he will be coming back, you guys. Maybe a bit of a surprise for everybody when that happens. But this is where we're at. We're in a place where this man is doing work on our behalf. And we have to be more intuitive. We just have to be more intuitive. So let me shuffle these in and ask the question with one card. Did I deliver the messages in the way that you had hoped that I would? Did I get messages across that were good? Did I do a good job? Have I said things correctly? Please and thank you. It's cut them, you guys. I'm sorry about the noise of the cards being so loud on the wooden table, but it is what it is. I just don't want to go through the trouble of pulling a cloth out every day and putting it on my table and then picking it back up. I know that sounds minute, but I just don't want to have to do it. So, all right. So I delivered the messages to you correctly, you guys, with that Emperor. And that's that Higher Arcana card. I gave you good information today, they say. So the secondary message with that is my Alliance card. That's my Alliance card. So this is just a reminder that we have the Alliance working on our behalf. And just a reminder, probably because we were reading on Trump today, that he is part of this Alliance. That is the doer. He is my Divine Masculine card. So he is the doer, the healer through doing. Brings great healing in. He's the twin flame to my Empress, the Divine Feminine card. So he brings in balance, you guys, via doing the work that creates balance and healing here on the earth plane. And so that's what we're getting for a message today. I'm 56 minutes in. I hope that you found some value in this. Again, this is just what I'm getting. Tap into your own intuition. Feel through it. See how you feel about it. Take what resonates, toss the rest. That's how we do it. That's how we're meant to do it, right? All right, you guys. I love you all very much. And I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. And for those of you that are not here on our time zone and it's late at night and you're probably sleeping, I hope that you all wake up and have a beautiful, let's see, if we're having a Saturday, you're going to be going into your Sunday. So I hope that you all have a beautiful Sunday. And stay vibing high, stay in love. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. When you're feeling confused and you don't know what to believe, that's when you ground. When you spiritually ground, go deep. Go deep. Connect to your Mother Earth and then fly high. Connect to your Creator. That which created all in creation. Protect yourself. Throw your light protection around you. Open your heart. Heal your wounds. Ask for assistance from your Creator, from your highest version of self, from your spiritual team. Always make your decrees. Always, always, always. And just sit. Ask the questions and sit. Remove the ego. Remove the fear. Be open to receiving whatever you get. It will go a long way in this world of much trickery. So, anyway, you guys, I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you all soonish. Take care. Bye.